Welcome back to another video, the Husker Breakdown. So today, I am going to be giving you guys my reaction to the Maryland Terrapins transfer portal class in the 2026 transfer portal window. So, we've already done Illinois, Iowa, Indiana, Rutgers. We're doing Maryland, and then after that, we got Oregon, Washington, Ohio State. And then I believe that puts us, and then that would be it. So we're almost there in terms of all the Big Ten teams that I'm going to be reacting to that Nebraska plays. So Maryland only has 12 incoming transfers, and they actually have 16 outgoing transfers, so they net at a -4 in total players. So, and a lot of their transfers aren't even that good. And so, without any further delay, let's get straight to it. So starting off, they got Callum Wither. Now, Callum Wither is a guy that's from a no-name school. He's done absolutely nothing. I don't know why they tried to get him, because they have Malik Washington. He's a more than capable quarterback. Maryland isn't very good. So that's not a good guy to get to the world. That's not going to help. Okay? He's not going to be a benefit to them at all, unless they hope to develop him. But Maryland, they tend to have all right quarterbacks. They have some pretty solid wide receivers, and that's about it for Maryland. They're not very good otherwise. Back when they had Talia Tagovailoa, he was a good quarterback, and they had Ty Felton. That's a pretty big name for the wide receivers because he was pretty good. They were decent, able to get to 8 wins, 7 wins, whatever. But then now they haven't been to a bowl game since 2023. So I feel like Callum Wither was kind of an unnecessary transfer. Then they got Javon Parker. So he's a defensive lineman. He is 330 pounds. He's 6'3". Okay, right here, why did Nebraska try to get a defensive lineman that big? Okay, why not? Nebraska, if Maryland's getting them, why not Nebraska, who has much more money in the pocket than Maryland in terms of football revenue? However, I looked at his stats. He doesn't have much of a resume to boast about. He has 6 tackles on it. He has a half a sack. So he doesn't have a very good resume. He's a junior. He'll be a senior in 2026. So he's not going to be very good for them. But however, it's a big guy, hard to push around. He'll push against those holes, and that's kind of what you want for a defensive lineman. That and also getting to the quarterback and stopping the run. However, that's definitely a player that they probably want to develop. Because Maryland does tend to have actually decently sized nose tackles in a defensive line. They just aren't developed properly. But then they got Armon Parker. Actually, I think these two guys are brothers. They look like brothers. He's also from Washington, so yeah, they definitely are brothers. 6'3", 307, so he's a little lighter. Once again, he doesn't have much of a resume to boast for. He's a guy they're probably hoping to develop, make him a decent defensive lineman. But however, I do not believe that he is going to be a impact player for them. Not remember Bo Bade or Ruben Hippolyte back in 2023. Those guys were 2 good defensive players for Maryland, but I just don't know if that's what these guys are going to look like or not. We'll see. So then they got Amari Jackson. He's a cornerback from Boston College. He has barely any tackles on his resume. He has a few pass deflections, and that's really about it. He's a guy that just doesn't do a whole lot. And so I think Maryland doesn't have bad cornerbacks, I should say. They're all right. I think that Amari Jackson, he's a guy that, he'll probably be all right for them. I think he could be a decent, solid cornerback for them, but we'll see. Then Preston Howard is a tight end. He doesn't have much to say for himself either. He has 84 yards last season, 10 receptions, so he doesn't do a whole lot. I think he's more of a second or third string guy that Maryland is kind of grabbing because he entered the portal. That's what a lot of these guys are from Maryland, just not any studs through the portal. So yeah. Then they got Lavon Johnson from Texas, 310, another lineman that's over 300 pounds. Nebraska didn't get a single lineman over 300 pounds through the portal. We recruited one, but that guy had some trouble with his school, so we don't know if he'll even be able to play with Nebraska. We'll see. So, yeah, he's 310. That's a guy, he's 6'2", so he's not a small guy. He's going to be helpful for Maryland, for sure. That's going to be tough for any team that plays against Maryland if they can develop all those linemen that they're bringing through the portal. So then they have, he's a wide receiver. I'm going to probably butcher his name, so bear with me. Naeem Abdul Rahim Glading. Okay, that went better than I thought. He's from Old Dominion. Doesn't have much to his name either. About 500 receiving yards, so that's pretty mediocre. Definitely a guy that they probably want to develop him, make him better. That's just what they're going to do with him. Here's another defensive lineman, Derek LeBlanc from UCF. Another 310. He's 6'5". Now, that is a solid lineman right there because he's pretty tall. He's 310. That's like athletic. That's about as tall as Ty and Nash were. I mean, they were good defensive linemen. This guy, I mean, he was okay. Not really that great for UCF. But, however, I think with the right coaching, he'd be a beast. Once again, Nebraska failed to get guys like this guy. You know, maybe they didn't even need to recruit like a 10 sacks guy, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they just need to recruit a big horse like this guy. It's like over 300 pounds, pretty tall, and that would really help you. Because, like, sure, Owen Steinmeier might reach over 300 pounds by August or September. Likewise, the Van Poppel gave more, but still, like, you can't just trust the development. You got to bring in some talent. Especially since Matt Rule hasn't really brought in a transfer and developed him to the NFL. But anyway, then you got Harry Dalton III. He's a running back from USC. He's a third or fourth string guy. I believe he's fourth string. And yeah, he didn't really do a whole lot for the Trojans, so that's likely why he transferred, because he didn't get a lot of playing time. But Maryland doesn't have good running backs, so they just probably grabbed him because they lost their starting running back, which we'll get to in a moment. Then you got Devin Cargan. He's another quarterback. He's from Kent State. Okay, this is another thing. Why waste time and effort to have that many quarterbacks? You have Malik Washington. Sure, you can get a second string guy, but you can recruit those other guys. But I just feel like getting a guy like this is just kind of unnecessary to me. But that's just my opinion. Anyway, moving on. Chris Durr Jr. He's a wide receiver from Wyoming. He's not, like, once again, he's not anything special. Like, he's not a super freak athlete. Like, that's just how he is. He's a guy that maybe could be good for them, but really just doesn't have a whole lot to his name. Excuse me. Then last, you got Talek Lockett. He's an inner lineman, 327 pounds, 6'3". He is from, I forget what school that is. Yeah, he's from Texas State. He's a guy, I mean, because they lost a couple linemen, Maryland are just looking to reinforce that very likely. So, yeah. So then briefly we can look at their outgoing transfers here. So Alio Ba, inner lineman, there it is. So he left for LSU. And I mean, he's probably going to do well there, because LSU will develop him. Michael Harris, yeah, he doesn't know where he's going. But yeah, I feel like I remember this guy being pretty solid. Braden Lee going to Arkansas. That's a loss for them. Cedric Smith, defensive line. Okay, 321 pounds to Colorado. That was a lineman that was actually solid for them last year. Then Dimitri Nicholas, he's a D lineman, 295. So like they do have a lot of big linemen. They're just probably not coached well. Going to Sam Houston. Then Josiah McLaurin. Yeah, this is the running back that they lost. One of them that they lost. Yeah, I believe. No, Nolan Ray was the other one. Josiah McLaurin was their second string. He is going to Marshall, and yeah, he didn't. Like I said, he didn't do a whole lot for them. Leon Hodden Jr. going to Old Dominion in the tight end. Yeah, it's kind of a loss for them. Nolan Ray, that's a loss for them because that was their starting running back. He's going to go to Boston College. He should do pretty well there, I think. Then Kevin Humes going to Rutgers. That happens, I think that guy didn't do a whole lot. Dylan Fontes going to Syracuse. That's decently tall lineman, too. That's not going to be good for Maryland if they're hoping to keep him. Then Lakia Rowland going to Arkansas. He's a cornerback. He might be all right. Then Justin Martin, he's another guy that he's another quarterback going to Ohio State. He didn't get to see the field a whole lot. That's why he's leaving. Neo Avery, and once again, another young guy that just leaving. Didn't see the field. Christian Martin, likewise, going to Fresno State. I think these two guys were brothers. Maybe, I'm not sure. But anyway, going to different schools. Quarterbacks that just didn't see the field. And then Jamari Powell Watson going to Florida Atlantic. Once again, another guy that just didn't see the field much. And then Shamar McIntosh safety. It's one shot at Noga. Didn't see the field much. So Maryland. Okay, so Maryland. Here's the thing about Maryland. Okay, they just don't like play consistent football. Okay, they just don't do that. That's just not the style of Maryland. They're good in September. Like Mike Locksley, if he just played non-conference games, he'd probably be a very good coach every year. But unfortunately for Mike Locksley, that's not how he works. So he does very good in the non-conference. He usually does good in the first week of conference play. But when he hits October, man, he's awful. Like the year that their best record under him, which was 2023, 8-5, they started off 5-0. They had destroyed Indiana on the road, and they had destroyed Michigan State. Then they go to Ohio State and lose, and then they proceed to drop 3 subsequent after that. They're 5-4. They could have missed a bowl game. Then they go to Nebraska, and unfortunately, we all know how that game went. They beat us, and then they would beat Rutgers after they would lose to Michigan the week after they beat us. I know that sounds confusing. Anyway, they'd finish 7-5. Then they won against Auburn in the Music City Bowl to go 8-5 without Tagovailoa. So they actually finished solid. So, but 4-5 conference. So, yeah, they were. I mean, they had a good passing offense that year, but I don't know like what their offense is going to look like this season. I think it's with Malik Washington. He's able to air it out. He was a good recruit. I mean, he was a very, very talented player on Maryland. I mean, but you do lose key players. I mean, Nolan Ray was one of them. Definitely that lineman. I'm getting his name right now. Let me find him real quick. Ali Oba. I mean, that's not going to be good for them. I think also losing Shalik Knotts was not a good loss for Maryland. That's another loss. He obviously graduated, but still, that is a loss for Maryland. That's not good. So Maryland, I just don't think they're going to be a good team because they don't develop right. And that's honestly kind of what Nebraska does too. But anyway, that's definitely a topic for a different time. That's it for me today, guys. I will see you guys in the next one. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will see you later, guys. Goodbye.